journey of our life, I found myself within the dark forest, with a straightforward pathway had been lost. Ah me! How hard a thing it is to say what was this rough, savage forest, rough and stern, which in the very thought renews fear. So bitter is it, death is little more. But of the good to treat, which there I found, speak will I of other things I swear.
Okay, thank you very much. Right, this particular exercise is called Cultivate Words Better. It takes the idea, bringing in a text, breaks it down so that people can use it in different ways. So, in this case, creating action, creating text, creating atmosphere, all those kind of things. It's a very, very useful technique that Complicity uses to begin their process. It also helps, in particular cases, in breaking down cultural differences between, say, Britain and Japan, which is something that was done. Right, we're going to do another exercise, which is grid work, which I'm pretty sure quite a few of you are familiar with. Right, so I'm going to want all of you guys, and Rosie, Andy, and I want 4 more people. I will start picking. Emma, because you've not been up. Liz?
Louise.
Steph? Hiding behind Harry there. You were staring at me. You could have looked away.
Go on, Harriet. Go on.
Okay, now, Rosie, I want you to start this exercise off. You pick a grid. Everybody move outside of this grid. I want you to do an everyday activity that you do. Try and do it in the most realistic fashion you can. You have the space to use within that grid. Everyone's getting a little bit of the idea that's going on around here. I'm going to ask one by one you to go in and do a different activity, again to a realistic fashion. So let's start with Emma. Here you go, put that off.
I don't have anything there. Can I wash?
Yes? Remember, you can use the entirety of the space you have. Okay? Steph? Andy, you want to go as well? Alright, play a little bit around with this. You're really late for work. You're really, really, really late for work. You've just seen the time and it's a couple of minutes now. Again, this time you're really hungover. You've had a good night, but you probably can't remember it. Okay, thank you very much. If you'd like to go back to your seats. This kind of work, grid work, is really quite useful, I think, personally. It takes small spaces and creates something big with it. So in this particular case, you could think, well, small space, lots of people doing a lot of different things. Could be an apartment block of some sort, people living together in a large space. And these particular exercises were used in the creation of The Elephant Vanishes.
I am going to talk to you about The Elephant Vanishes, which is a collection of short stories by Japanese author Uraki Murami, which was written between 1983 and 1990 and was published in 1993. The stories mesh normality with surrealism and focus on painful issues like loss, destruction, confusion, and loneliness. Complicite collaborated with Japan's Setojaya Public Theatre to produce a stage adaptation of The Elephant Vanishes, featuring only 3 of the stories in the collection. Directed by Simon McBurney and starring a Japanese cast, the play opened in May 2003 in Tokyo before touring internationally in limited festival runs. The performance was all in Japanese, with English subtitles which were produced on screen above the stage. The show involved a lot of multimedia, along with communal storytelling and demanding physical performance style. This helped the audience focus on the play's humour, realism, and dreamlike motion as a fitting tribute to Murakami's style. I'll also be telling you about The Street of Crocodiles, which has a place in my heart because I did it in college as our last BTEC acting performance, and it's the most exciting thing I've ever done. It's based on the semi-autobiographical stories of the Polish writer Bruno Schulz, revolving around his childhood in Poland, with the eccentricities of his family, particularly his father. Complicite's production of The Street of Crocodiles was opened at the Royal National Theatre in 1992. They devised the show that was neither a straight reporting of Schulz's short life, nor a straight performance of his writing, but a recreation of the The play toured all over the world until 1994, and then was later remounted in 1998, showing in New York, Tokyo, Toronto, and Minneapolis, or opening at the Queen's Theatre, London, in January 1999. Complicite and McBurney in particular found different ways of retelling Schulz's stories, sometimes using just words or none at all, mixing languages, rhythm and music in place of text. Simon McBurney, along with Mark Wheatley, another of Complicite's directors, adapted the original script and play with the ideas of themes, dreamlike and surreal visual effects that alternate from quite often grotesque images, as there was a lot to do with the Holocaust, but then it had mesmerising moments. It's a highly physical piece of theatre, but at one point we were having dinner at a table, and next we would lift up books and flap around being birds around the audience. It also involves minimal text and speech, but it manages to get across the themes of loss, horror, love and passion.
Having heard from Anna about their past productions, I'm now going to move on to their current and their future projects. One of their current projects is The Master and Margarita, which is on at the London Barbican now, and even though it's only been out for a couple of weeks, it's already been called an extraordinary and thrilling production by The Telegraph. And they're also working on The Magic Flute, which is originally an opera by Mozart, but now being directed by McBurney, it's going to become a much more physical piece. Complicite are also involved in creative learning, and in January in London, the company are running a week-long workshop looking at the many ways you can use sound in the process of making theatre. And they like to, when everyone comes along, they pose a question to them of, is sound the primary driver or focus of a production? The workshop will show how sound can be used to create space, atmosphere, character and emotion. And as Rosie said earlier, because Complicite are so focused on everyone coming together and making a piece, performers, directors and sound designers can all attend to create, even though it's more in a physical workshop, they all come together so they can all have a say in the final piece. They're also currently working with the Barbican Box. The Barbican Box aims to support theatre making in school and youth groups. And each year the Barbican commission a theatre artist or company to provide an idea from which students will then go along and devise their own play. This year they wanted to combine art and science, and as McBurney has a long-held interest in neuroscience, the piece that he's going to make is set to be brilliant. Complicite's productions are the results of years and years of hard work and a huge range of ideas. Their work begins from many forms like reading, writing, travelling, playing games, and all of these forms bring together people from a range of disciplines and backgrounds. There are currently a lot of different ideas floating about what their future projects are going to be. One idea that is sticking at the minute is about human consciousness and how we perceive the world that is around us. Here is an extract from one of their current production rehearsals of Master and Margarita, starring McBurney himself, which you can see